Rabbanit Oshra Koren, it's such a privilege to be sitting with you here in the hills around Jerusalem. You're the Rosh Beit Midrash, the head of the house of study and leader of Matan HaSharon in Ra'anana, teaching women from really across the country and around the world. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for hosting me.
So what is Jewish mysticism?
Jewish mysticism is the spirit of the Torah, the heart of the Torah, the soul of the Torah.
And then how did you connect to this?
Well, from a young age, I connected to the spirit of the Torah. I mean, the halacha is the body, and Jewish mysticism is the soul itself. That's what makes the whole difference.
Was there like a specific moment or experience or exposure to anything or anyone that really helped that journey?
Well, I think over the years, I connected to it through music and through dance and through experience, through Hasidic stories. And when I was 16, I met Reb Shlomo Carlebach, and I was very inspired.
In an ideal world, would all Jews be mystics?
I don't know if all Jews will be mystics, but all Jews should be connected to mysticism, connected to their soul.
What do you think of when you think of God?
Gaguim, longing.
Is there like an image that comes to mind? Is there certain experience or feeling?
Experiences of all good, of awe, of wonder, and longing. That's what longing, because how can we really conceive who God is?
Wow. And what's the purpose of the Jewish people?
Tikkun olam, making this world a better place. Love, spreading love.
How does prayer work?
The truth is, Rav Kook says that prayer is something that we do it all the time. Our soul is yearning all the time. We just don't know that. But prayer itself, as he says, is like a flower that during prayer opens up and opens up to God. It's like the actualization of that prayer comes at the time of prayer itself.
And what's the goal of Torah study?
Goal of Torah study is to make us better, to make us discover who we are, better versions of ourselves, understanding the world.
You lead a Beit Midrash, house of study, that really influences so many, but at the heart of it basically sits women, and you teach in such a deep way. Does Jewish mysticism view women and men as the same?
It doesn't view women and men as the same. Jewish mysticism doesn't. But the truth is, we have to understand about Jewish mysticism, when they use the feminine and the male, the zachar and nekeva, what they're saying is that everyone has that feminine side in them and that male side in them.
So should Judaism be hard or easy?
Wow. Judaism should be joyful. It should be more love. I would say less hard than easy, but when you understand what it does for your life, it becomes easy. I would say more than easy. It becomes something that you breathe, that you can't be without it.
And why did God create the world?
Because God is good. He just wanted to give. That's why he created. And he put us in this world to make it a better place, to do tikkun olam. Because a melech without people, a melech, a king, needs the people to lamlich oto. And without that, there wouldn't be meaning. I feel like human beings give meaning to the world.
So if he put us here in order to do good things, can we not do good things? Can we go against his will?
God gave us free will. As the Midrash says, God put us in Gan Eden. And he said, all of what I created for you. Make sure that you don't destroy the world, because if you corrupt the world, nobody can fix it after you. But definitely, God gave us free will.
What do you think of when you think about Mashiach?
Wow, I think about unity, peace, healing.
Is the state of Israel part of the final redemption?
Of course it is. As the Navi Yechezkel says, in Yechezkel Lamed Vav, it says, "Vatem arei Yisrael, anpechem titenu v'firechem tisu, la'ami Yisrael ki kirvu lavo." What the prophet says, that the sign of Geulah is when Eretz Yisrael is flourishing and fruitful and preparing itself for the people. And in our own eyes, we see how in 100 years, this land that was desolate has become so fruitful. And we see the gathering of the exiles in Eretz Yisrael, which is unbelievable. I'm thinking how I came with my family in 1971, And the Sochnut tried to convince my parents not to come. We were 8 kids, and both my parents in Chinuch.
Why didn't they want them to come?
Because they said, how are you going to make a living in Eretz Yisrael with, how are you going to make a living through education, through Chinuch? And in the interview, we were interviewed on the Mariv, the first page of the magazine. We still have it. And they asked my parents, how are you going to make it? And my father said, there are 2 million Jews here. They make it. How will we not make it? And I think of it, in 1971, there were 2 million Jews. And look at Eretz Yisrael today. How many Jews do we have here?
More than 6 million.
More than 6 million. Much more. Don't we have 8?
Might be 8, yeah.
Might be 8. And look at this land. And Baruch Hashem, my whole family, it's a shevet. I mean, we're over 150 descendants of my parents in Israel. So if that's not Geula,
Wait, how many siblings
I don't
do you
know.
have?
We're 9.
9 siblings?
I'm one of 9.
And how many children?
How many children do I
Yeah.
have? I have 4 children.
Well, so you
and I
got
have
9 and then 4 and
grandchildren.
then 14 grandchildren.
Yeah, so there are many, yeah. And that's Geula, families coming and rebuilding. I don't know if that's part of the interview, but I just...
perfect. And what's the greatest...
Can I say another thing? But
Yeah.
I don't know if that's part of the interview.
Carry on.
I want to talk to you about Geula also. When we came on Aliyah, we were in a Peugeot. My parents wanted to get to the Kotel. And at the time, maybe we were already 9 kids, because the 9th was born here. All stuffed in the car. And there was no Waze at the time. And my parents needed to get to the Kotel. They didn't know how to get there. And they stopped a policeman on a white horse. And they asked him how to get there. And the policeman is speaking in Hebrew. And my mother, who was a music teacher in Halb, remembered this song from 1925 of Avigdor Meiri, a Hebrew poet, a Sofer Ivri, about Ha'ir Tel Aviv, שבכל פינה עומד שוטר בן ברית, והוא מדבר עברית. And my mother, who remembered the Irish cops, what? Okay, a song about Tel Aviv by a Hebrew poet, Avigdor Meiri, that said, in every corner stands a policeman who is of the covenant, Ben Brit, and he is speaking Hebrew. And my mother from New York, who remembered the Irish cops, was crying, and she says, if this not Geulah, not redemption, I don't know what redemption, that we have Jewish policemen. And he just said to us, come after me, and he took us straight to the Kotel.
Beautiful.
That's Geulah.
What is the greatest challenge facing the Jewish world today?
Achdut. Not the outer enemies, the external enemies, but ourself.
Unity.
Respecting oneself. Unity. Love to one another. And that's what we try to spread in the world. And I believe that Jewish mysticism, pnimius of the Torah, can do that. Because at the end, we're all connected at the core. And you know what? I want to tell you also that today we see it. We see the music that there is. We call it pop emuni. How would you say?
Faith pop music.
We call it faith pop music. I was at a hofah of...
A concert.
I was at a concert in Caesarea of Hanan Ben Ari. The majority of the people weren't religious. And everybody's singing his religious songs of emunah. That's Geulah. And that's the pnimiut of the Jew, the neshama of the Jew. You can have a lot of external clothings and a lot of different things, but inside, the neshama is yearning for its creator.
How has modernity changed Jewish mysticism?
So I would say, starting from Rav Kook already, the connection to the world, what Rav Kook, and that's why I'm so connected to Rav Kook. Rav Kook took Pnimiut HaTorah and applied it to science, to philosophy. He spoke about Spinoza, he spoke about Darwinism, he spoke about art. He spoke about sports, that the Jewish soldiers, athletes are doing, and he got a lot of criticism for that. He saw the inner light in all of it, but I feel like modernity, the connection to modernity, brought Pnimiut HaTorah outside of the shtetl to all the realms of Israel and the world.
What differentiates Jewish mysticism from other mystical traditions?
I have to study more. I haven't studied other mysticism so much. I'm more into the mysticism of Judaism. What I must say, what's very important with mysticism of Judaism, that it's about tikkun olam and not just about bettering your own self. But
does one need to be religious to study Jewish mysticism?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Everyone has an neshama. and everyone has to connect to Kadosh Baruch Hu. And who's to say who's more religious than others?
So can it be dangerous?
Definitely. It can be dangerous because if you think you can only be mystic, sometimes you can lose your connection to reality. You can just, be in that spiritual world, but we were brought here to do tikkun olam, to take the spirituality and to fix this world, olam asiyah.
How has Jewish mysticism affected your personal relationships? You've got so many siblings and children and grandchildren and students and colleagues, on a relational level, not just as a text.
It helps to see the shoresh. It helps to see the good and the spark in each one, to see that's what it helps, the Jewish mysticism.
Is there a practical example, like when you've stopped and you remember, hang on a second, Jewish mysticism teaches this and it changes how you look at it?
For instance, I'll give you an example. Rabbi Nachman teaches that Veda, I'll say it in Hebrew, and then Veda ki tzarich ladun et kol ha'adam l'chaf zchut. One has to judge each human being in a good way, right? And he says, and even if you see a person who's totally rasha, who's totally not good, it can't be that he doesn't have that good spark in him. And if you find that goodness in him, that nikudat tova, that good point, and you discover it, you help that person to elevate himself and expand the goodness in him more and more. So that helps me with my relationship. And it helps me with my relationship with myself also. Because Rabbi Nachman says, just as you have to judge your fellow man favorably, the same you have to judge yourself favorably. And you have to believe in yourself. Once you believe in yourself, once you love yourself, you have room to love everyone else.
To close off this wonderful conversation, is there any teaching that you think of right now that resonates, that inspires you, that you can share with us?
So I love stories, Hasidic stories, and I love to tell stories. And I've learned that from Rabbi Nachman, also from, of course, Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, but Rabbi Nachman says that the world thinks that stories come to put people to sleep. And I say, said Rabbi Nachman, I tell stories to wake people up. And everyone has a part in his neshama that is asleep, that hasn't been actualized in the world. As Rabbi Nachman says, people are walking around. They seem like that they're awake. They're eating, they're drinking, maybe they're even learning Torah, but they're asleep. Their neshama is asleep. And he said, through stories, I wake people up. And one of my favorite stories is the story of Bat HaMelech Avuda, the lost princess, where there was a king that had 6 sons and 1 daughter, the princess, and he loved the princess very much. And every day he would play with that princess. And one day he was angry with her, and he said, let the lo tov, sha'lo tov yikach otach, let the not good take you. He woke up in the morning and she disappeared, and he was so sad. And he was sad because he loved the princess. So his minister went out to look for the princess, and he went in deserts and fields and didn't find the princess till he comes to this desert, and he sees this castle, and there are guards in the castle, and there are walls, and he says, I'm sure they won't let me in. He starts going in, and he goes in, and he goes in, and he goes in, till he gets to this beautiful ballroom, and there's singers, and there's beautiful vessels, and there's musicians, and he sits on the sides and waits. And all of a sudden, the king walks in, and the queen. And he looks and he sees, wow, that's the princess. That's the lost princess. And I won't tell the whole story, but one point that I wanted to bring, a teaching that Rabbi Nachman says, when this person thought that they wouldn't let him in, when the minister thought he wouldn't let him in, it was in his mind. As Rabbi Nachman says, that people have obstacles, miniot he calls it, walls, things that stop him from going forward. And he says, the biggest obstacle from moving forward is what you tell yourself. And once you just jump forward and take that leap of faith, you can change. The most important thing, that a person believes in himself, that he can go forward. And that's a Torah that's very dear for my heart.
Well, I think that you're able to teach that because you do that in your own life. You've traversed so many paths despite any minute obstacles you've pushed through. You've created such wonderful institutions and synagogues and communities and students. And we give you a blessing that you continue to do that every step of the way and inspire so many others to do the same.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.